Welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. We are so glad that you joined us today. My name is Andrea, and today is a great day to learn something new.
It certainly is, so let's do that together, friends. My name is Gabe.
Now, friends, we have some books on our table, and one place that you might go to read books or look at books is a library. Now, have you ever been to an unusual or a very interesting library? Gabe, what about you?
That's a good question. You know, I had some pretty nice libraries at my university campus, but I don't go into a lot of city libraries. I probably should a little bit more. You know what I do a little bit more, though, is go into bookstores. I like to check out bookstores. I know libraries and bookstores are a little bit different. You borrow books from a library, whereas you buy books from a bookstore.
That's true. Well, one interesting library I've been to is right here in Taipei.
Oh, yeah?
It is the library in Beitou, which is a famous area for hot springs, but they have a beautiful library. It's made out of wood, and you know, it's an area of the city that's very relaxing, and even the library is a relaxing place.
That's very true, and that's a library that I really should check out. Well, friends, we're talking about a certain kind of library today in a lesson called Unusual Mobile Libraries.
Wow, a mobile library.
Yeah.
Now this does sound unusual. Friends, we have some interesting things to learn about. So, if you have your magazines, and we hope you do, please open up to today's lesson and then join us as we begin our first reading.
Unusual mobile libraries. Portable libraries deliver books and knowledge. For children in parts of Kenya, books often arrive on the back of a camel. In other parts of the world, they arrive on horses, boats, and motor vehicles. Books are hard to come by in some parts of the world. That makes mobile libraries an excellent way to share knowledge and the joy of reading. The Camel Mobile Library. In Kenya's northeastern region, the Camel Mobile Library takes books to remote villages.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们先来看 mobile 这个形容词，意思是活动的或是机动的。比如 The doctors that work from the mobile health van that travels from village to village have saved hundreds of lives. 这些医生开着巡回医疗车，在村落之间抢救了数百条生命。或者是 Our society has become more and more mobile over the past 15 years. 我们的社会在过去15年里变得越来越激动了。再举个例句 Our baby daughter is now mobile, so we are always running after her. 我们的宝贝女儿现在能自己行动了，所以我们老是跟在她后面跑。接着来看 remote 这个形容词，意思是偏远的或是偏僻的。比如 If you go camping in a remote mountain area, be prepared to come in contact with wild animals. 如果你去偏远的山区露营，要预备好和野生动物接触。Remote 也有微乎其微的意思，譬如 There is not even a remote possibility that I can make it to your party tonight, even though I'd like to go. 我今晚完全不可能去参加你的派对，虽然我很想去。Remote 也有遥控的意思，例如 Whoever has the remote control, change the channel. 谁手中有遥控器，转换频道吧。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you, Jack. Well, we are looking at unusual mobile libraries, and the deck of our article is Portable Libraries Deliver Books and knowledge. Now here we see that word deliver, and here it can have two different meanings. When you deliver something to one person, you bring it to that person.
Yeah, you could be a delivery person. Maybe someone who works for the postal service is delivering a package to somebody's house. And now it's used to talk about knowledge as well. So the meaning here is that it's conveying knowledge, it's giving knowledge or communicating knowledge in some way. So you can kind of see how this word deliver has a couple of different usages. Andre, have you ever heard the term, maybe in the business world, they say overpromise and they say underpromise and overdeliver. Right?
Yes, I have heard that, right?
Yeah.
So that is a way of making your customers happy.
Exactly. So you don't promise them too much, but then you actually give them more than you have promised. We say that you are over-delivering. Anyway, there's different ways to use that word, but our lesson says portable libraries deliver books and knowledge.
And how do they deliver or physically deliver these books? Well, our article starts by saying, for children in parts of Kenya is a country in Eastern Africa, books often arrive or are delivered on the back of a camel. Now, this is certainly an unusual way to get books or to have a library come to you.
That's right. But of course, that's not the only way, right? In other parts of the world, they arrive on horses, boats, and motor vehicles. Okay, this is just one example of a kind of vehicle that might carry books. However, I really like the idea of books coming on the back of a camel. And I like that our lesson had to specify it was on the back of a camel. Where else is a camel going to hold these books? On its underside?
Well, it might have a
on the side,
cord
maybe?
or a big necklace holding the books. I mean, there's other ways.
It's true. And in general, friends, if we talk about an animal like a horse or a camel or a donkey carrying things, even if it's straddled on the side, we would say it's perhaps carried on the back of these animals. But how does our lesson continue?
It continues by saying books are hard to come by in some parts of the world. Now let's look at that phrase, hard to come by. If something is hard to come by, that means it's difficult to find.
And this is a great phrase to know if something is hard to come by. For example, I love Mexican food. And there are some good Mexican restaurants here in Taipei, but it used to be hard to come by, okay? Cheap hotels these days are hard to come by. You know, we talked about flip phones a couple of days ago with that digital detox lesson. Some people like to have those kind of old-fashioned phones. Well, flip phones are kind of hard to come by now. You can't buy those just at any cell phone store.
Wow, Gabe, those are some great examples. But for me, it's really hard to think of books being hard to come by. We live in a place where books are readily available. We have books right here on our table. I have hundreds of books at home and in my office.
And people have ebooks now too with their Kindles and things like that. So it's hard to imagine how books are hard to come by, right? But it is in some parts of the world. That makes mobile libraries an excellent way to share knowledge and the joy of reading. I like that phrase, the joy of doing something. You know, there was a cookbook, maybe it's still famous or popular, called The Joy of Cooking.
Gabe, I have that cookbook.
You have
yes,
it.
The Joy of Cooking. And when you make those recipes, you do experience the joy of cooking. And by having these mobile libraries, kids can experience the joy of reading. Well, what are some other ways we can use this phrase?
Oh, the joy of teaching. Of course, of course.
Absolutely, and the joy of learning.
It's true. And speaking of learning, we're learning about this Camel Mobile Library in Kenya. It takes books to remote villages. And now it's time for us to experience the joy of learning something new in today's Info Cloud.
Welcome to InfoCloud, friends. Rex, would you consider yourself a bookworm?
Absolutely. I love to read books. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Let's talk about the word bookworm.
We use the term bookworm to describe someone who loves to read. An interesting fact is there are insects such as beetles and termites which live in books and eat paper.
Very interesting. This word goes back to the late 1500s. Back then, bookworm was a negative term. Today, the term is seen more positively as we know books give us knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Another related term is the term book smart. Book smart is used to describe someone with a lot of theoretical knowledge or the knowledge of books, but they lack practical experience. And the opposite of book smart is street smart. That describes someone who learned through doing rather than books.
We can say, Henry is definitely book smart. He has 2 PhDs in philosophy and literature, but he lacks real-world work experience.
Friends, are you book smart or are you a bookworm? Even if you're not a bookworm, remember that reading books can be good for your mind.
很多人热爱阅读，西方人会称呼这种人为 bookworm， 字面上是书虫。因为我们经常会在旧书当中看到白蚁或是小虫子吃书本的页面，因此才会用 bookworm 来形容那些活在书本当中的读者。另外一个相关的用语是 book smart， 用来形容那些脑子里充满知识但是缺乏实际经验的书呆子。Henry is book smart.But he lacks real-life experience. Henry 很会读书，但是他欠缺真实生活的经验。和 book smart 相反的是 street smart， 也就是充满生活智慧，很懂得在实际生活上生存的人。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Okay, I'm almost done writing the second part of our program today. Andrea, I just need a noun.
Giraffe.
Giraffe, good.
Yeah.
Giraffe. I need another noun, a plural noun.
Ooh. Oh,
the first one was plural too, so giraffes, okay.
Okay, giraffes and donuts.
Donuts, excellent. And a verb.
Jump.
Jump, excellent. Okay, here we go. The government created the program to give giraffes a chance to learn to read. Very good. The animals, which carry 400 donuts at a time, jump 4 days a week. Thank you so much.
Gabe. Now that is an interesting story, but I don't think that's how our article continues.
No?
No, I think that we should just read it together.
All right.
But I like that the giraffe jumped.
Unusual mobile libraries. The government created the program to give children a chance to learn to read. The animals, which carry 400 books at a time, travel 4 days a week. Il bibliomotocaro. Retired schoolteacher Antonio Lacava wanted to help children learn to love reading. With that in mind, he turned his 3-wheeled van into a traveling library. His bibliomotocaro holds 700 books. Each month, he travels over 480 kilometers to visit excited children in southern Italy's smallest villages. It makes Lacava happy to know that he is investing in their future.
“好的，再来看 at a time 这个副词片语，意思是每一次。譬如 Molly's new job requires her to be gone from home every month for 2 weeks at a time. Molly 的新工作需要每个月出差一次，每次长达2星期。或者是 Leo can carry 4 boxes of books at a time because he works out every day. Leo 一次可以搬4箱的书，因为他每天都运动。再举个例句 ，Rex always takes the stairs 2 at a time. Rex 爬楼梯时总是一次爬2阶。接着来看 turn into 这个动词片语，意思是变成、成为。譬如 Anthony turned his front yard into a garden and let people in the neighborhood eat the vegetables. Anthony 把前院变成菜园，让附近的人都吃菜园种出来的蔬菜。Turn into 原来的意思是转进去，譬如 We turned into the parking lot just before a car sped past us. 在一部车急速超车前，我们已转进停车场了。再看一个例句 In a common fairy tale, the frog turns into a handsome prince when the princess kisses it. 在这个众所周知的童话故事里，青蛙被公主亲吻之后，就变成了一个英俊的王子。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
You went through those words one at a time. Thank you so much, Jack. Well, friends, let's look at that mobile library, the Camel Mobile Library. The government created the program to give children a chance to learn and read. And we also learned that the animals, the camels, carry 400 books at a time and travel 4 days a week.
That's right. They don't carry 400 donuts at a time or jump 4 days a week. They travel 4 days a week. And you can see kind of what this might look like, these camels carrying this heavy load of things, right? So how would you like to have a camel deliver something to you? Hey, that's something we could talk about. Maybe later.
Good idea. Okay, now our article continues by looking at another unusual library. This one is called a bibliomotocaro.
So cool, Andrea. Say it again. Say it again.
Well, say it with me.
Oh,
Bibliomotocaro. Now, this was started by a retired school teacher in Italy, and he wanted to give children the love of reading. With that in mind, he turned his 3-wheeled van into a traveling library. Now let's look at that phrase, with that in mind. We use this when you are thinking about something and then have another idea or thought.
That's right. Or maybe you do something because you're thinking about somebody that you care about. We often use that phrase. Maybe you made something, maybe you made a dish to eat with someone in mind because you knew they were coming to your house. You know, a couple of weeks ago, my friend Andrea made cold brew coffee with me in mind because she knew I liked coffee and I didn't have cold brewed coffee for a long time anyway. So she made some with me in mind and brought it to work. Thank you, Andrea.
Well, it was a joy to make that with you in mind, Gabe. Well, we see that with these kids in mind, this retired school teacher turned his 3-wheeled van into a traveling library. Now, friends, a van is a road vehicle. Now, it can carry things, it can carry goods, it can carry furniture, but it can also carry people. But of course, this school teacher used a very unique van, didn't he?
That's right. Okay, so he has a 3-wheeled van and he turned it into a library. Okay, so his car holds 700 books. That's quite a lot. Each month, he travels over 480 kilometers to visit excited children in southern Italy's smallest villages. Okay, you can get the idea that these kids really want to read something from his Bibliomotocaro.
Yes, and he's doing all of this to invest in their future. Well, friends, we have more to learn. It's time for us to go and cherish something.
Well, you know what? Some things that are hard to come by, we should cherish. Let's see how the word cherish is used in a skit.
Well, dear, tell me, what do you cherish the most?
Oh, that's easy. I really love this old chair.
You cherish that old chair?
Yes, I love this chair. It's so cozy and comfortable. I've spent most of my life in this old chair. I cherish it.
Well, I can't believe you cherish that old chair.
But that's not all.
Oh, okay, it's not. So, honey, what else do you cherish?
This baseball, of course.
A baseball? You cherish that old baseball?
Yes, I hit a home run with this baseball. And we won the game. And we won the championship. Ah, yes. I cherish this old baseball.
So you cherish that old baseball and you cherish that old chair. Well, honey, is there anything else?
Well, let me think. What else do I cherish? Let's see.
Honey, me! What about your wife? Don't you cherish your wife?
You?
Yeah.
Well, I was saving the best for last.
Oh, honey, how sweet. Well, I cherish you too, my dear. Alice the camel had one hump. Alice the camel had one hump. Alice the camel had one hump. Let's go, Alice, go boom, 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 woo!
Woohoo! All right, I just learned a new song. I didn't know that
this
song
is
before.
a song about camels that I sang when I was a little girl. And of course, we learned some interesting things about camels in our lesson. To have camels bring books to kids who don't normally have the chance to read books. So with that in mind, Gabe, I have a question.
Yes.
What would you like a camel to bring to you?
Oh, what a great question. Yes, we should have more camels in the city just delivering lots of different kinds of things to people. Speaking of, I think they could take over Uber, like Uber Eats or Panda Express or whatever it's called, Food Panda. You know, they could deliver our food to our doors, right?
Like Camel
Camel
out.
Express.
Oh, okay. Camel Express. Although I think you would need to order your food about 2 or 3 hours before you want the camel to bring it.
You might be right. How about this? Every morning, the same camel, Alice,
Yes.
brings some coffee to my door at 7:15, and it's all ready for me. And, you know, she left her house at like 5 because it takes a while.
Yes.
And then she brings me coffee. Yeah?
Camel coffee.
Camel coffee.
Camel coffee.
Andrea, what about you? What about you?
What would I like a camel
To bring.
to bring?
Yes.
I would like a camel, not Campbell. We love Campbell. I would like a camel to bring me my laundry.
All folded.
All folded, all clean. A camel laundry service.
I have a feeling it wouldn't smell very nice after the camel brought it to you, but it'll be nice and folded. That's good. Well, friends, what about you? That's just kind of a fun question to think about. If a camel could bring something to you or deliver something to you, what would you want it to bring? Talk about that in English, of course. We'll see you next time for more about unusual libraries or unusual mobile libraries right here on
Studio Classroom.